This will be my initial use of my new blue bowl here. We had some cool weather, so I had to wait till today. So I'm getting going here, filling up my bucket and my tote. Get the bucket full, and then get this full until it covers the pump. There's the pump. I got a old motorcycle battery that's not god awful bad, and a float charger hooked up to it, and then I can check the voltage with my DV arm to make sure it's maintained. So anyway, that's how I'm getting going here. Looks like so far it's a pretty nice day. So I've got some concentrates, not concentrate. I've got some material. Yeah, boy, the level went to heck here. Jeez, did have it spot on. So got to start over with that. That's kind of a bummer. It takes a while to get everything level. Jeez. I mean, it's really off. So, anyway, I'll get it level and go from there. Okay, this will be the first run of the pump here. Let's see if it, see how the battery voltage maintains. That's the main concern right now, because I want the pump speed to stay steady. I do plan on replacing this little ball valve with a much bigger gate valve. I kind of went to the local home improvement store yesterday and scratched my head, and there wasn't anybody around to help, so I didn't purchase anything. I kind of saw the valve I needed, but didn't see the fittings that I needed to go with it to hook it up to the hose and to the bowl. So I left empty-handed. Okay, I'm getting maybe just a touch high. What I'm going to be putting through here is super fine stuff. I sieved it, and some of it went through 100 mesh sieve. So I've got some material from the 70 mesh sieve, from the 100 mesh sieve, and then from the pan that was below the 100. So I got it up a little bit high here. The level looks pretty good all the way around, so I think I'm still level. The swirl looks good. Battery voltage is maintaining at 13.3. That would be good if it would maintain that. Probably still have a little too much flow for how fine my gold's gonna be. This ball valve is just too touchy. That's why you need to go to a bigger, because I've used my friend's bowl, and that's all we did was fiddle with that flow control valve. So I've seen some guys on YouTube that replaced it with a brass gate valve, and they say it works much better. So anyway, I think see, I just barely tweaked that control valve and dropped it almost probably a half an inch, close to a half an inch in the level. So yeah, I think it's maintaining right there. Voltage is maintaining at 13.3. So all's looking good. I think I'm gonna go and get some of my material, put this on a tripod, and we'll spoon a little material in there and see what the heck happens. Alright, let's see what we can do here. Get the pump running again. See where the level's at. Figure out how I'm gonna deal with the material that I got here. This is the material I want to run first. I think this is the combination of stuff that went through the 70, the 100, or stuff, excuse me, stuff that the 70 caught, that the 100 caught, and the stuff that went through the 100. I did notice an issue with my 100 mesh sieve. It's new, but it's got a defect in it to where it's kind of got like a run in a nylon stocking, and one of the wires is actually kind of looped up, and so I'm gonna get in contact with the seller and see if they can send me a new one, because it's with that spot in it, it's no longer 100 mesh. So. Well, I'm debating what to do here. I think I'm going to shut it back off, the pump, and let it settle here, and then I'm going to put the material in and then fire it back up. That's my plan. Like I say, folks, this is all new to me. I've messed with my friend's blue bulb and watched it work. And then we screwed around with the flow control valve and managed to lose all the gold that was in there. I'm not sure how to get this stuff out of this bag even. Got a little plastic spoon here. I got a brush. Got a squirt bottle with water in it. Between all of them, I should be able to get something going here. I can get the bulk of it out this way. Then wash it with the bottle. Get that last little bit out. Stuck to the spoon. This is kind of, looks like to me like it's really loaded with gold. Very tiny. So this will be the ultimate test for a blue bowl. What the heck? That sounds like the pump is actually flowing backwards. Didn't expect that. Okay, water bottle. Rinse out the corners of this bag. Try to keep everything on camera here. These Ziploc bags have a tendency to hold stuff in that zip section. Okay, I like that. I think we got it all in there. Okay, so let's turn her back on and see what happens here. Boy, it's just loaded with gold. I wish it could show up on camera better. think I need to be off to the side here. Chair. See what the heck's going on. Yeah, that's better. Even though I just went through a series of 50, 70, and 100 sieve, this material came out of the 70, the 100, and then the pan below the 100. And even in spite of that, I managed, there was a couple of bigger pieces in there that I had to pick out with my fingers, and I don't know how that stuff got through. I don't remember turning the sieve upside down and rinsing it into my spoils. That could have done it, because the sieves I've got a gap between the pan and the screen, you might say, to where stuff can get back in there and crack it. I may have to take some really high-grade silicone. So I'm seeing gold go over the top. That's not good. That's not good. Turn the flow down a little bit, but yeah, the gold is just marching right over the top of the cone there. Super fine sand. I'm gonna shut it off real quick. Take a closer look at what I got here. I think up around there I'm seeing a little bit too much shiny. This is such fine gold though, I really didn't expect much else. Yeah, we'll continue and see if anything gets left behind in the blue bowl. The good thing about blue bowl is anything that I'm not catching in gold is going into the bucket and should hopefully settle in there, although that's not a guarantee, the way gold likes to float and stuff. Floats and suspends. I don't know. It could just be that I'm never going to recover this gold. It's just too fine. Looks to me like the bowl isn't 100% level, according to that right there. But oh, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to put in the magic juice. Don't know what I was thinking. Gotta put a little. I got some Cascade, pretty much the same as Jet Dry. And that'll hopefully keep the water, the gold, from floating so bad. I don't know, I'm seeing a pretty solid gold line right around the lip of the very top lip of the cone. I don't like to see that because I can see it coming over the top. Looks pretty shiny, some of it, so I know it isn't just sand. I don't know. Maybe I invested in the wrong apparatus. Maybe I should have went with a Miller table or something like that. Just, I have my doubts if this is gonna, it might catch some of that little bit bigger stuff, but I don't know. This is a very slow operation too, so you have to be patient. We got in a rush when we were messing with a friend's blue bowl. probably got in there and disturbed that material too much. Should have just let the blue wool do its work. And then we got down to the end of his run, and he had a pretty good solid, what looked like a solid little ring of gold around the base of the cone down there. And it was there, and 30 seconds later it was gone. And I think he had fiddled with the pump, or excuse me, the flow control valve a little bit, and I think he just blew it all out into the bucket. And so I went and watched some YouTube videos and realized that what we should have done was shut the thing down, shut the pump off, let everything settle, then go in with the snuffer bottle and suck up that line of gold around the base there, and then start the pump back up. That's what we should have done, but we didn't. So all of his gold ended up in the pan again, and or in the bucket. So he'll have to do it all over again. Still seeing stuff going over the top. It's got some glitter to it, but it isn't super glittery. And you can really spot that gold. It's got such a distinct screaming yellow color. It is slowly working. I'm not seeing much climb up the side of the bowl. Stuff is rotating around the top. And there's some arching up over on the far side over there. And a little bit over here too. So I don't want to screw it up and crank up that flow control and blow everything out of here. I guess it's just my best chance is to just sit here and be patient. Boy, you gotta be patient. And while that's happening there, I probably should be screening some of this other material. I've got one bag of material that is too coarse, way too coarse for this. I need to, it's been through the big sieve. I need to run it through my window screen sieve, and then probably through the 50. I don't know if I'm going to send it through anything beyond the 50. I think the 50 will maybe get it down fine enough for the blue ball to work, and then I should be able to look in the sieve and see if there's anything big in there worth picking. I haven't found any pickers at all yet. I keep expecting to. And I've got 5 brand new bags of pay dirt over here covered up, that 1 gallon Ziploc bags, that any one of them could have something good in it. So we're just now getting back into some good weather. It was cold and rainy for 2 days, which is awesome because we got over 1 inch of rain, which is this time of year in central Wyoming is just awesome. We had a couple inches a few weeks ago, so everything is super green. I wish we could get some of this rain in more like August, but we never do. In August it just is brutal and everything just turns brown, and it's kind of ugly. But when it's green, it's pretty nice country. Where this dirt came from was 65 miles from town. Pretty easy access. BLM land. No claims on it. Known gold area. But it was, the gold mining that took place was back late 1800s, and it was mostly, I think, hard rock mining that was way up further on the mountain. From where this stuff came from, I'm just hoping to find some placer that worked its way down from a vein or something up higher, where this stuff, I'm sure, came from. But, wow, this is just taking forever. I know what'll happen if I turn it up. I have seen a guide that suggested when it stalls out like this to shut the pump down and take my handy dandy little brush and brush the material back out to the edge and then start to pump up again, and that will reinvigorate the process here. So I don't know, I'm still seeing stuff slowly march up. Don't really want to turn it up. I know I'm losing gold already, because I can see it. Yeah, this stuff is just going to be a real chore to get anything out of. I mean, it's just maybe not even going to be worthwhile. It'd be cool if it paid for the gas to go out to that spot and back, but that might be asking for too much. Well, this is getting real boring, I'm sure, for the video, so I'm going to go ahead and shut her down and let this thing run, and we'll see what we find when it gets down to the end here. So I think I'm starting to see more silver glinting in what's in there now than gold, which is what I was seeing earlier. So I'm thinking the gold has already gone up and over. And it's going to be in the bucket. Jeez. I don't know. This might just be something that's just never going to happen. I'll keep on trying. So I think I'm going to try something. Might be disastrous, but you never know till you try. Right? So I'm going to stop the pump. Let her settle down a little bit there. I'm going to take my handy dandy little brush. I'm going to bring this stuff out to the edge, or at least part way out. All the way around. Slowly, carefully. Even with the magic jet dry type product in there, you can see the gold floating as I'm doing this. So I'll be letting it settle back down before I turn on the pump again. Get this stuff out of my brush here. Okay. Happy with that. Okay, so everything's getting settled down. I'm going to turn the pump back on. I hear it siphoning back again. I don't know why it does that. Maybe I need a little higher level in the reservoir here. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see what happens here. Stuff should slowly start marching back towards the cone. If it doesn't, I'm going to increase the flow a little bit. Here she goes over the top. I'm not seeing much moving here. You're getting some movement slowly. This is a very, very slow process. That's what I've discovered in my short experience with the Blue Bowl. It's a very, very slow process. Yeah, it's moving. Not seeing too much go up the cone yet, but it is collecting around the base of the cone, so. And I'm tempted to try and tweak that flow up just a little bit, but that ball valve is so frickin' touchy. And every time you put your hands on this thing, you risk upsetting the balance, the level of the thing. Like I said, this ball valve is just too freaking touchy. I just tried to just nudge it there. I mean, not even hardly a perceptible amount, but I'm watching the level rise in the bowl a little bit. I've got a spot picked out that I'm watching. It started out a 1/4 of an inch below it. Now it's maintaining at about an 1/8. And it's definitely moving more material towards the middle. It's maintaining the level. So we'll let her run there for a while. I am happy to see that my battery voltage maintains a perfect 13.3. I couldn't ask for a steadier voltage than that. So I'm glad I hung on to that old motorcycle battery. That was a pretty new battery, and I screwed up. I had it out, the bike out in the shed, and I had the trickle charger hooked up to it. And we were getting into some warm weather, and I thought, well, I don't need that trickle charger hooked up now. So I went out and I unplugged the charger from the 110, but I didn't disconnect it from the bike, and which is a boneheaded thing to do because the battery charger has a circuit in it that ran the battery down. So then when the weather froze again, it froze that battery. And once a battery freezes, it can break them internally, and they're just no good anymore. And that one kind of was it. Yeah, I couldn't trust it. It tried to leave me stranded one time, so had to buy a third battery for that Kawasaki. The first one made it less than a year, factory one. Anyway, that's a different story altogether. So stuff is moving very slowly. I'm not sure. I probably should have my loop out here so I can see some of that stuff going up over the top. That's what I should do. I'm gonna go get my loop right quick. I'll pause it for a moment. So I can see some shiny stuff going up over the top. It's hard to get in here. You see, some of that's not gold at all. Little yellow rocks. There's a piece of gold. There's another one. Big piece of silver over here. Like a flake. I shouldn't say big, but big compared to the other stuff in here. But yeah, I think I'm just watching gold just head right up over the edge of the cone into the bucket. That's unfortunate. This is going to be my one big investment for this year. Maybe next year I'll try to come up with a Miller table, maybe, if this is all I'm going to find is this flower gold. And then again, I might just rethink the whole thing and start going out to that area to go fishing instead of prospecting. Probably have more luck fishing, I think. A lot of people do. So anyway, I will start up another video if we get down to where there's anything promising looking, but right now I think she's all going over the top. Probably not going to show up on camera, but there's a little tiny line of stuff that forms around the very outside lip here of that center part of this thing, and I just took my snuffer bottle and snuffed it up because I looked at it with my loupe and it looked like it was all gold. Super fine gold. I mean, just so fine, this is probably just complete waste of time trying to recover it. It's never going to amount to nothing. But I think that's about the only way I'm ever going to recover it, is just when it starts to collect in one spot like that, snuff it up. Because if you wait, it's just going to be down in a bucket. So here we go again. I'm going to try it again here. Awkward, but there's probably a little tiny bit of gold in there. But yeah, I think I'm about done running this fine stuff. I just don't see the point. I'm gonna pan out and screen the rest of the pay dirt that I've got. I just talked to a friend that said he had gone out to this place with me and he had some samples, and he panned out his samples and said he didn't find a single thing, not even a speck. So I don't know, maybe that place is spottier than I thought, because I could have swore I was seeing a little bit of gold in virtually every sample. There was one sample that was way better than the rest, and that was the one I'm trying to find again when we went out that second time. So I've got everything labeled, and when I start panning it, I will be able to tell if I'm in that spot again or not, because there was just so much color in there. It was just outstanding. So anyway, yeah, I don't know how long I've been out here doing this, but an hour at least running this little small bit out of that baggie. Thinking it's just a waste of time. So I brushed everything away from the cone again, letting her run. I just, as you can probably tell, I'm getting pretty discouraged. I was just hoping this blue ball was going to be the answer to catch this little stuff, but it just isn't. Stuff's just too small. I mean, you'd have to go with, this is the reason I think the old timers went with mercury and stuff, because it's the only frickin' way. But I'm not about to do that. I know there's newer methods, cyanide, and then there's some even newer, better, or at least safer, some chemical process. So I don't know. I'm gonna keep this going until all the sand's gone and see if there's anything remaining. I have a feeling there won't be. I think the last thing out of the bowl is going to be sand. So, but I'm gonna let her run.